Hey, what's up, guys? Today is Wednesday, April the 15th, and this is math class. Yesterday, I assigned you guys 5 problems where you are converting fractions into decimals. We also went over the process on how to do that. You divide the bottom number into the top number. That means you divide the denominator into the numerator. Now, you're not going to be able to put that bottom number into the top number because it's always going to be too big. So you add your decimal and add a 0, and you work from there, a regular division problem. All right. So if you need additional support with that, you can Google Math Antics on how to convert fractions into decimals, and he's got a great video that will help support your learning. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the other video where I show you guys the steps on how to do 2 of the 5 problems that I assigned you yesterday, and I will also be assigning you another additional 5 problems that have slightly bigger numbers, but don't worry, you follow the exact same steps and do it the same way, and you will get the correct decimal. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch over to that video. As always, if you have questions, you can let myself or Miss Mari know. All right, we're here to help. All right, guys, see you in a minute. Okay, guys, so we're going to go over the answers for the questions from yesterday, the math questions. Remember, again, we are converting fractions to decimals. So they start off looking like this, and they end up looking like this. All right, if you were to put 4/9 into a calculator, then you're going to get a decimal answer. So I'm showing you how to do that, without needing a calculator. All right. So the first thing we're going to do for 4/9, I'm going to move this over here. For 4/9 is we're going to divide the denominator 9 into the numerator 4. All right. So we're going to turn this into a division problem. So 9 into 4. Now, as we've talked about before, you cannot put 9 into 4. So what must you do? You first have to add your decimal, like that. Then you make 4 into 40 by adding a 0. You can put 9 into 40, right? And so how many times does 9 go into 40? Well, 9 times 5 is 45, so that's too big. So 9 times 4 is 36. All right, so we're going to bring our decimal up here and put our 4 that we just talked about, because 9 times 4 is going to equal 36. All right, now, just like always, when we're doing long division, after we multiply 4 by 9 and get 36, we do our subtraction problem. Now, we can't take 6 away from 0, so we're going to borrow and turn that into a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. And 3 minus 3 is 0. So we have 4 left over. All right. So again, we're going to add another 0 up here. And we're going to bring that 0 down. Again, we're going to put 9 into 40. And we already talked about how 9 times 4 is 36, which is as close to that we can get to 40 without going over. So we're going to put another 4 up here. And we're going to say 4 times 9 equals 36. Again, we're going to do our subtraction, and 40 minus 36 is 4. So now you start to see that we have a repeating pattern. So what that tells us is that the answer to 4/9 is going to be 0.4 with a infinite line over the top. That just means that these 4s will go on forever. Okay? So let's move on to the next problem. I'm actually going to erase the first one. Feel free to pause it if you need to, but I need room to be able to do the second one. So 4/9 equals a 4 with a line over the top, which just indicates that that 4 keeps going. So now we're going to move on to 3/7. All right. So the first thing we do is we take the denominator, which is 7, and we're going to divide it into 3. But as usual, we know that 7 can't go into 3, so we have to add our decimal here, and then we add our 0. Now, 7 can go into 30. So we need to get as close to 30 as possible without going over by multiplying 7s. So 7 times 4 is 28, and 7 times 5 is 35, which means we have to stick with 4. So we're going to bring our decimal up to the top and put our 4 that we just identified. So 4 times 7 equals 28. And we do our subtraction. All right. We can't take 8 from 0, so we borrow. And 10 minus 8 is 2. Okay. Now, we can't put 7 into 2. So what must we do? We add another 0 and we bring our 0 down. And we can put 7 into 20. How many times does 7 go into 20 without going over? So again, knowing our multiplication problems is very important. So 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 is too big. So 7 times 2 is what we're going to use. So we put our 2 at the top. 2 times 7 equals 14. And again, we're going to do our subtraction problem. All right, so we can't take 0 from 4, so we're going to borrow again. 10 minus 4, that gives us 6. All right, again, 7 cannot go into 6. So again, we're going to follow the step and add another 0. We're going to bring that 0 all the way down and turn this into 60. Now, how many times can 7 go into 60? Well, I can tell you that 7 times 8 is 56, and 7 times 9 is 63. So 8 times is as close as we can get without going over. So we're going to put an 8 up here. All right, 8 times 7 is 56. And again, 60 minus 56 is 4. So at this point, we're going to stop because 0.428 is all I expect from you guys. The truth of it is this goes on for quite some time. I don't want you to do more than 3 numbers up top, but this is your final answer. So 3/7 equals 0.428. Okay, so you can see over here the other answers that we have. Oh, actually, sorry, get that for you. Number 5 is 0.625. Okay, so there are the other answers. Hopefully you were able to divide the denominators into the numerators and come up with these 3 answers. If you did not, go back and check your work again to figure out where you might have made a mistake. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and assign you guys the next 5 problems. Now, these problems you'll notice are a little bit bigger. The numbers are a little bit bigger, but the steps are exactly the same. So for this first one, you're going to simply create a math problem, a division problem, 23 into 20. All right, and you're not going to be able to put 23 into 20 because it's too big. So you're going to have to turn 20 into 200 and work from there. All right, so hopefully you guys will work those problems and be able to identify how to turn them into decimals for tomorrow. All right, so I will see you guys tomorrow, and go ahead and work these problems. If you have questions, let myself or Miss Mari know, and we will help you guys out. All right, see you guys tomorrow.